Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be talking to you about the Coinbase debit card. The reason I want to talk about this is because I think that for many US residents at least, their first foray into crypto is probably likely going to be on Coinbase or one of several other exchanges, but Coinbase to me is the easiest one to get started on. And once you've got a little bit of taste of crypto and how things work, you kind of start looking for other ways to integrate crypto into your life. And one of the first ways that I started researching was, crypto credit cards and debit cards. And I've tried one other crypto debit card. I'll probably mention it later in this video. But to me, this one is the simplest to use for a variety of reasons. Now, by the end of this video, I hope to explain to you the details about the card, what it is, who can use it, how to go about getting one, how it works, and the pros and cons of the card. Now, having said all that, let's jump right into the video. So first I want to cover what this card is. It's a regular debit card just like any other. There's really nothing special about it that differentiates it and the usability aspect from any other debit card that you'd be used to. As you can see here, I'm on the FAQ page of the Coinbase card website. You can see here that it's issued by MetaBank North America, member FDIC, pursuant to a license from Visa, and the Coinbase card is powered by Marqeta. I don't know what any of those entities are except for Visa. It's been pretty transparent to me as a user so far, so nothing really much to talk about there. Now, as to who can get a Coinbase debit card, I did not know this before researching for this video, but it would be US users and apparently UK. I was not aware of that, so if you're in the UK and you want a Coinbase debit card, you'll have to check out this help article. I'm sure there's some slightly different legalese around it, but it's a possibility for you to get one as well. Now, if you're in the US and it's eligible, anyone from any state except for Hawaii is eligible. Now, if you've been in crypto a little while, you probably are aware that Hawaii is notoriously hard on cryptocurrency. New York is too, so I'm kind of shocked to see that New York allows the Coinbase debit card. But hey, if you're in New York, get on in. As to how the debit card works, it's just like any other debit card. I've linked it to Apple Pay. I've heard people linked it to, Google Pay and everything else. No issues with that whatsoever. With it, you can spend crypto or US dollars or USDC. You'll see here on the FAQ page that if you choose to spend crypto, there's a 2.49% transaction fee on all purchases when you spend crypto, except for USDC or US dollars. So for that reason, I recommend obviously spending dollars or USD coin to avoid those fees. And there is this entire FAQ page that you can see on the screen. It's quite long. It answers a lot of questions in grand detail. I'm not going to go over each and every detail for this video because it would be quite boring and my view time would be trash. So I'm not going to do that. I will link this in the description of the video. Feel free to peruse it at your leisure. And for demonstration purposes here, I've got my Coinbase account pulled up. When you log in your Coinbase account, once you have a card, you click on Pay, and then you go to over here on the top right, you go to Manage Card, and then you can see all of your transactions and all of your rewards and everything. So if you want to change your payment method, you just click on simply the paying with, and you can change it here. You see they got US dollar and USD coin at the top. It's for a reason. And you can pay with, Bitcoin, any other coin you have. You can see all these ones I have. But I do not recommend paying with crypto due to the fees and tax implications and future gains that you're going to lose. Now, as to the rewards, if you choose one of these four, whether it be Stellar Lumens, the Graph, Ampleforth, or Rally, you can get 4% back. They're all roughly equal in their charts. I've looked at them. I'm not going to do a study on them for this video, but I've gotten I had mine Rally at first, and I changed over to the Graph. I will probably stockpile a little bit of each of these for a while just to have a nice diversification. But you can change them here. You can also get 1% back in Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, or DAI stablecoins if you want. I don't know a good reason why you would choose 1% over 4%. If you know one, drop me a comment, educate me. You'll also see here on this page, you can do things like show your card number, copy your card number, paste it into, online forms, whatever, lock the card, change your PIN. You can go to support, change your address, all those sorts of things. I've had no issues with it whatsoever thus far. The only issue that I can think of that most normal people will have, I consider myself probably upper middle class, I suppose. I'm married, so I just let my wife hold the card, and then I just use mine on Apple Pay. Very rarely an issue unless you go somewhere that doesn't accept Apple Pay. And even then, you can usually work around by having it in a store wallet or something for like a grocery store. I've ran into that as well. Really only one of the main usability drawbacks that I can think of. Now, something else that would need to be considered if you're thinking about switching over to this card is how you add funds to the card. Not all of your funds are going to be available right away. So if you're going to start using it, I would recommend, kind of staggering it in with your whatever card you're using from before, and kind of waiting till some of your funds are available. Because for me, it was roughly a 1 to 2 week ramp up. I can't recall off the top of my head. But when you go to add funds to the card, you just literally go up here, click add funds, click add funds. It's not cooperating with me. All right. I am back through the magic of editing. I managed to skip forward in time a half hour. I had to take my daughter somewhere, but I have returned. So I refreshed the page. I was having trouble showing the add funds feature, but literally it's simple. You click add funds here, and then you can, add as much as you want. You can buy whichever asset you want. Remember, I talked earlier about recommending USDC, or you could just burn any USD you've got in your account. And then you can do a one-time purchase, or you can do a daily purchase, which, that's kind of crazy for budgeting purposes. Weekly, first 15th of the month, which is what I do, or, every month on whatever day you're on. Today's the 12th of February, so for me, it shows the 12th. Now, earlier in the video, I mentioned pros and cons. The pros to me here are fairly straightforward. This is a debit card that nearly anyone can get. Sorry, Hawaii. There's no credit check, really no barrier to entry other than, doing some know your customer, sending in your identifying information and all that, which is, could be a con for some people, but let's face it, the AML, anti-money laundering stuff is not going away anytime soon that I can tell, and it's only getting tighter, so big deal. And like I've mentioned before, the ease of use of this card is it's simple to use. There's nothing special about it as far as using it for daily purchases. You just kind of fund it and select which asset you want to use to spend. And that's pretty much it. You just have to wait for all your funds to be available. Nothing big. And obviously the 4% back in crypto is, to me, a no-brainer. That's double any, cashback card that I know of. I know there's some that give 5% back for certain categories and, all these different caveats, but if you want to mess with that, go for it. I personally do not. That's not really my thing. I do have a cashback card that we use occasionally, but this one gives much more rewards, so we're doing most of our spending here. Now, as to the cons, obviously the volatility of the crypto you receive could affect your rewards value depending on when you receive it. So I pulled up the GRT, the graph price for over the last 1 year. So it looks like it probably got, I don't know when it became a thing, but it looks like it was fairly new and hot a year ago. But, the price has gone down a little bit, but it's kind of steadied out between 40 and 60 cents for the most part. So, if you're getting rewards, let's say up here, and then you hold on to them later down here, well, that's no good. But if you get rewards here and then you cash them back in up here, that's still a gain. So I don't look at this as a short-term deal anyway. I'm kind of stockpiling these for later, see what happens. Not a big deal. And, I'd mentioned that you got to wait about 5 to 7 days for your ACH deposit. I've got mine set up for twice a month spending for purchases, that is, of my USD coin. I haven't had no issues once I, kind of let everything get settled at first. So you might have to wait a week, 10 days for all your funds to be available when you first want to use it, but that's a fairly easy transition. Another thing to keep in mind that I learned as I was using this is if you make any returns of purchases that you've done on this card, it's going to come back to you in USD no matter what. So you might have a couple $100 just sitting in USD that you weren't even aware was sitting there, but if your USD coin or whatever you decide to spend gets low, you can just transfer over to spend the USD, or you can buy whatever coin you want to buy to kind of fund your wallet. And then the obvious one is a debit card, not a credit card. So there's going to be certain limitations that you're going to have. I wouldn't recommend unless you're putting tens of thousands of dollars on this card, I wouldn't buy plane tickets, rent hotels, or rent cars with it. But if you're, a big baller and you got a lot of money to put on this card, go for it. I found one of my personal expenses that I was trying to transition everything over from credit cards to this card to use, and then out of the blue, YouTube TV would not accept it, considered it a prepaid card. But yet my YouTube premium subscription works and all other purchases work, so I don't get that one, but whatever. Thanks, Google. And finally, it's worth mentioning that, in my opinion, at least for U.S. users, there's probably other competitive cards for other countries. I'm not an expert on them, so you'd have to research those yourself. But in the U.S., the Crypto.com debit card, to me, seems the most similar. Now, the thing with that one, though, is you're going to have to stake about, I think, $4,000 worth of their native token in order to get the 4% rewards there. Which to me, that's a decent chunk of change for some people to put down. And the other issue is their exchange is not available to U.S. users currently. If it were, to me, that might be worth relooking. Hopefully, it changes in the near future. I've used it in the past, but we got away from it because it was too much headache, and the juice wasn't worth the squeeze. That's going to do it for this video. Thanks for watching. If you got value out of this content, I would always appreciate a like and subscribe. If you're interested in possibly signing up for a Coinbase debit card to see what all the fuss is about, I'll put a link for referral in the description of the video. I'd appreciate if you use my link. If you use it, we both get $10 in free crypto, so win-win. If you got any comments or questions that you'd like me to answer, hit me up in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.